And now we shift our focus to our daily IPL show on NewsX, where we break down the biggest match, the turning points, and the playoff battles with sharp analysis from the guests who are there. Hi, I'm Sunil Kalra, and today we are having an exciting segment lined up for our viewers, guests. But before that, let me introduce you my guest, David Brooks, the former Oxfordshire player who joins us from the Minor County League from Oxford. We also have Satish, the former sports editor of Gulf News, and also the Mumbaikar from Maidan, Taos Rizvi, who joins us, who incidentally happened to play a game of cricket a couple of days ago. How are your bruises and the injury? Is the age catching up with you, Taos Rizvi?
Not at all. Not at all. In fact, I was really, played a match-winning performance, all-round performance rather, I would say. So there is no age issue, there is no injury issue. I'm all fit. Maybe you can ask me for an IPL game next year.
Absolutely. In fact, it'll be nice to know the experts. Did you get scrutinized by your peers and the colleagues like you scrutinize everyone, including Vaibhav Suryavanshi?
Not really, because they know my game. They know I can win matches single-handedly, whether with the ball or with the bat. So yeah, there was no scrutiny,
Well, you
not
just stole
criticism.
the thunder away
They were
from
all
David
praised.
Brooks. In fact, he does the bowling, batting, and everything for his thing. In fact, let's move on to the Gujarat Titans, who locked horns with Chennai Super Kings in a much awaited IPL encounter tonight. And what a statement they made. GT were clinically from the very first over. The bowlers restricted CSK brilliantly, while the batting unit chased the target with ease, confidence, and the Titan looks in complete control throughout the contest and registered a comfortable victory over the 5 times champions. Let's review the match. David Brooks, what is your understanding and the way you see the match critically from your point of view?
Well, the difference in class between the two teams was on display for me. And the inability perhaps to take wickets. I mean, the top three of Gujarat Titans, I was really impressed with
Right.
Sudharsan. And Shubman Gill played the sort of innings that we've come to expect on this ground. He seems to have a very good record here. And then Jos Buttler, I mean, I was down on him at the start of the tournament, but my God, he looks in really good form now to be able to come in and keep the acceleration and get 57 not out and keep the momentum going. I mean, I always thought that target would be beyond CSK, and with the early wickets losing their two mainstays early on, and some very good bowling that we saw from the Titans as well, particularly from Rabada and Mohammad Siraj, and then Rashid Khan doing what he does best. So to me, there was a difference in class between the two teams, and Gujarat Titans were deserved winners in my view.
Well, absolutely. Satish, let's turn our attention to your thoughts. Let's understand how can you demystify the CSK batting, bowling, and their on-field performance last night?
Hi, Sunil. Hello, fellow panelists and the viewers. First and foremost, I'm not going to write an ode right now here, because I'm quite happy with the way things have panned out for Chennai Super Kings. Yes, there are certain shortcomings. If I have to first talk about the shortcomings, I would say the bowling lacked the bit of teeth. I think the lack of Overton also played a big part, and untimely injury. So I think that's where Chennai missed a bit this season. If you look at almost most of these games, the bowlers were off the mark, and that's where they couldn't stem the flow of the runs. And the second one, if you look at, I would talk about Gaikwad's captaincy, or the team management's decision on selecting the teams, especially when you have a good left-arm spinner who could come and restrict the bowling. He was playing on and off when he was doing well. He was not given a long run. So these are some of the things that hard to explain, or they need to maybe iron out. But other than that, I would say the team is in this transition phase, and I would say, and the third part, which I quite wanted to be set for the next season, is I think Rituraj needs to be taken off the captaincy, because the captaincy has put a huge burden on his shoulders, and he failed to perform as well as he would do as a batsman. So I think the captaincy is affecting his form. So these are the three things I would like to see in a better way next season. But other than that, Chennai is in a lot better state of what they were in the last season. They were considered a dad's army, but now they are a young Titans or Turks who are raring to go for the next 5 years. Some very good talents have come through this season, and I would say it's a very well done season in my opinion, Sunil. And the addition of Sanju Samson has blended the experience and the youth very well. So it's a very good season, and without Dhoni, they were able to maintain the fans' expectations, and the fans came into the ground and they were backing the team, they cheering the team. So there are a lot of pluses to this season, though every fan would have felt disappointed in not making the playoff. At least they should have come much more closer than what it is. But that's the way it is. It's a long tournament. But yes, if you look at those small moments, Chennai could have been in the fifth spot or fourth spot. But yes, it's a learning curve, and I'm sure it's going to get only better than what it is right now. They're going to get stronger and stronger over the seasons.
Well, it's only going to get better. This is what Satish, my colleague, who's been watching the cricket from the very close quarters in the last 3 decades. Well, moving on to Tos Rizvi. Tos, are you kind of dismayed by the fact that the latter half of the table, when you see you have Mumbai Indians, you have CSK, you have Delhi Capitals, and all three of us belong to one team or the other in a way, affiliations wise, just as fanatics. Do you think this is the new normal, that the big names will have to be bowed down? And what exactly went wrong with those three big names? Couldn't they keep up with the momentum? Because they had the money, they had the experience of winning the titles. What else do you require to win the matches at IPL? And what did they lack?
Like I earlier said, definitely before at the beginning of the tournament, hunger is what the big teams were lacking. I mean, having won five titles each. Of course, Chennai is in a good state compared to Mumbai Indians. I was having a chat before the show with Satish, and he came up with a beautiful example how these guys are into a transition phase, and they have accepted the fact. I mean, not on record, obviously, that they are Mahendra Singh Dhoni is going to, he may not play anymore in the near future, or could make a few guest appearances here and there. But they have accepted the fact, and they have moved on from their senior pro or daddy's armies. But Mumbai Indians have kept on going with their old, war horses, which, it's very, very difficult to play with the same team over and over again, which has won you laurels, obviously, but they don't have a fresh approach, or maybe they don't have the hunger anymore. And then you have controversial leadership issues, not exactly leadership issues, but what the Mumbai Indians went through, what Hardik Pandya went through, and the politics going around and the talkings going around, rumors, team owners unhappy with their players. So everything boils down to it. It's not a settled team. So this is exactly Chennai Super Kings was smart enough at the auction table to pick up or maybe trade Sanju Samson, having accepted the fact that Mahendra Singh Dhoni is the only guy. I mean, they had sidelined Suresh Raina, and then they had traded Ravindra Jadeja at the end. So the fact they were better prepared for transition compared to a Mumbai Indians, while the Delhi Capitals. I mean, the same story goes over and over again. They started off well, Samir Rizvi's shine, and then there were ups and downs. Maybe the problem with Delhi Capitals is completely different from these two teams, which has won multiple championships. Delhi Capitals may have the team, but they don't have the hunger, or maybe the right leadership that they are looking at. They had the KL Rahul, they had the Akshar Patel, they had the best of young talents, but they could not come up as a team, a formidable side that could have made an impact like a RCB or a Gujarat Titans, which were not looking really convincing, but they showed potential, and now they are at the second. So it's like how do you prepare? It's up to the mindset. It's up to the preparation strategy. Every team goes through it. some teams click, some teams don't, but then there is a phase. I mean, the Mumbai Indians had a phase, Chennai had their phase, RCB is going through. I mean, when it comes to men's, of course, this year, last year, men's, women's cricket have started showing their potential. So everybody are going through a phase, individuals as well. Somewhere or the other, I think Punjab again, the way they started, they've gone down. So difficult for Delhi Capitals. Sad for them. They had the potential, but unfortunately, the RCB, Gujarat Sunrisers, they were too strong. While Delhi have to work a lot.
Well, yesterday was a brilliant performance from the space duo, Rabada and Siraj. What you see on your screen right now is a detailed analysis of which ball they were bowling, which over, 3 overs, 3.4 overs. It was an excellent way to break the momentum. David Brooks, turning our attention to the brilliant performance, the man of the match was Siraj, the Royal Challenger Bengaluru's. Well, of course, the fast bowler with the new ball. He swung the ball beautifully, bowled with genuine pace and aggression, and ripped through the opposition's top order with some sensational deliveries. His fiery set the tone of the match and proved to be the game-changer moment. David Brooks, when you look at Siraj, what comes to your mind, and exactly how would you demystify his performance, especially what you see on the screen right now, his analysis, his bowling, his fast balls, his wagon wheel, everything put together?
Well, I've always been a huge fan of Mohammad Siraj. To me, he's an underrated bowler. To me, one of the top bowlers, because Bumrah takes all the headlines, of course, in the contemporary era. But Siraj always takes wickets when you ask him to in all formats. We saw how effective he was in English conditions last summer in the Test series. We saw that again yesterday with his ability to take wickets, and figures of 3 for 26. He could have had more than that. He makes things happen. He's a huge fighter. He's clearly got great energy and workload, able to take on a massive workload, and that was the difference between the two sides: the ability to take wickets. With the steady loss of wickets from CSK, they were never really in a position to confront that total. Even when Dubé was hitting the ball nicely, you always felt that partnership was about to be broken. Another wicket was going to be taken. I mean, 3 for Siraj, 3 for Rabada, and 3 for Rashid Khan. But no, Siraj, I think massively underrated in India. Perhaps because of his temperament, because of his personality. People don't always take him as seriously as they do the other frontline bowlers. But to me, he's one of the first names I put on the score sheet, any format. If you want to take wickets, Siraj your man, and he's really shown that yesterday and showed it last summer in English conditions.
Well, absolutely. In fact, Rabada wasn't far either. Moving on to Satish. Satish, very quickly, they say the fast bowlers hunt in pair. Rabada yesterday was no less than what he was in the destructive part when India tours South Africa. Do you think you see the kind of brilliance of Rabada rubbing off onto Siraj? And that's how they hunt in pairs. Your views?
It's not just one way. I would say it's both ways. Even Siraj is a proven match winner. If you look at the way he got 5 wickets against Sri Lanka in the final, I think it's a Champions Trophy in Sri Lanka, the Colombo, where the conditions were not conducive for swing. So Siraj is a great bowler. I think one lacking point with Siraj is sometimes he is a bit erratic. Other than that, he is a great bowler. But if off late, he started maintaining that consistency, and he's really a threat to any team. And with the Rabada bowling in tandem, it's always like this, Sunil. Whether it is batting or bowling, you hunt in pairs. So you don't go one end, because if you start leaking runs in one end, then the pressure is gone. Even when you're batting, if you don't score from other end, the pressure is gone. So it's all about maintaining the pressure. So it's all about hunting in pairs. And to come back and do something different from what you asked earlier, one of the reasons why Delhi Capitals has struggled from the early good start is they lack the bowlers. The bowling combination is missing there. If you look at the top 20 of the purple cap holders, I don't think there is anybody who is even there in the top 20. So that says a lot. Again, I have to repeat the earlier statement which I said. It's the bowling unit that wins you the trophy. And yesterday, of course, thanks to the top 3, Gill and Sudarshan and Butler. Of course, Butler coming into form is much more effective for GT than anything else, because if you look at the past record, good if Sudarshan and Gill are the top two batsmen in the orange cap, but if they fail in a knockout, which will happen in the case because it's going to be pressure and they don't know how to handle it because others are not used to it. Butler coming into form gives them that advantage. Somebody else is also there. It's the entire pressure is not on them. So if you look at all those things, it's all about pressure and how they handled it. Going back to the earlier question, yes, it's not just Rabada and Siraj. They also have Rashid Khan who can sustain the pressure. Holder coming in.
David, it brings,
As
it
we
begs to
spoke
ask
earlier
another
also,
question,
also said
David.
it.
David, when you have a bowling like what you see on screen right now, 3 overs, 26 runs, 3 wickets for Siraj, and Rabada getting the same number of wickets and almost same kind of stats. Do you think the flat bats, the bent over batting is slightly overrated? Because if you have the skill, tenacity and the aggression of the fast bowler mindset, you can actually curtail the batting, the batting onslaught. Do you think these two bowlers did show some brilliance last night?
Yeah, they certainly showed what they're capable of. They've got a huge range, and I think they're both justify the term brilliance. Obviously, so much depends on the pitches that are prepared, and just a little bit in it for the bowlers is what you're looking for, isn't it? Something for them to work with. Otherwise, the flat bat merchants will get away with it. And that was why I enjoyed the match, I think, because we did actually see some proper batting from Sudharsan and Gill, in the sense that, especially Shubman Gill has that wonderful classy aspect of his shots, the ability to put away the good balls, not just the bad, and he keeps that orthodox technique rather than, just flat batting things over cow corner, as we say over here. So, good, effective bowling, a little bit in it for the wicket from the pitch to help the bowlers. You do need that, because otherwise that can blunt even the most talented bowler. And I think when you get the balance between bat and ball, when it tips too far in favour of the bat, as it can do in the IPL, that's when you say, is this proper cricket, in terms of giving the bowlers a chance to make their impression, show them their ability. You need to give them the conditions so that they can show what they can do just as much as the batsman.